what is the Mammoth? We saw that really cool Sally McRae documentary, but what is it exactly? What's happening? Where is it?
Yeah, I mean, Tim and I dreamed it up, I guess, year and a half, 2 years ago now, and just sort of the Eastern Sierra is such a beautiful area, and obviously Trailfest is cool, but we're sort of within the mountain area, and so the idea was just like, let's take people on this journey, and there really isn't a lot of races up in that area, and it turns out it's because it's really hard to get permits, and it's a lot of work, and there's a lot of different agencies involved, and so it has been quite a labor of love to bring it to life, but it is a 214-mile loop that starts and ends in Mammoth Lakes, and you go up to the top of Mammoth Mountain, so at 11,000 feet. And then I'm a bad Canadian. I can't remember the meters conversion for that.
That's all right. I'm living in France now. I actually am not better at both. I'm worse at both now. So I don't even know.
That totally. I just go back and forth. I pick one, depending on the day. Sorry, I digress. You go up to the top of Mammoth Mountain, you come down, you run through some beautiful lakes. It's beautiful in the fall there. Yeah. And you end up crossing under the 395 highway, which is the main one that goes up to Yosemite. And you end up in the Glass Mountains. And the Glass Mountains are a range that nobody really explores. Like,
I've never even heard of it.
Quiet back there. Yeah, exactly. And it's like high desert alpine sage, like the air smells incredible. And then you're moving through this volcanic rock. It's really interesting. There's actually an area called Obsidian Dome, and the rock is all that like glass obsidian. And then you end up at Lee Vining, which is sort of your northern point towards Yosemite by Mono Lake. All the cool tufas in the water. It's a really interesting area. And then you start making your way back to Mammoth, and you come through, again, lots of these lakes with the ponderosa pines. And then we make you climb Mammoth Mountain one more time before you come into town. So it's a little bit of a sting at the end, which is kind of fun. I see the race profile as sort of like the first 50K are quite technical and a lot of climbing. The middle 100 miles is fairly runnable, but still really challenging and at higher altitude. And then you have like a last 50K with a little kick in the pants.
You've got some really heavy hitters, and everybody on that roster matters. I'm not saying that those who we don't know of their Instagram, that we don't think that they matter. But, a new race, getting Tara Dower and Max Jolliffe and Jeff Brown. I think Jeff Browning will run anything. No offense to Jeff. But, what do you attribute getting the attention of so many great athletes on year one?
I mean, I think it's a combination of things. I know Tim and I really had big dreams right from the start. I have a background of being involved in 200-mile races. Tim's obviously built Trailfest into something cool. And so I sort of see it as like we're the new kid in town, but we're not like an unknown. Like there is sort of a proof of concept. Yeah, we can put on an event, and I think we went into it really thoughtfully, and we weren't going to put something on until we could do it well. And so we were really intentional with reaching out to people that we thought would be a cool part of this, and obviously like the Tara and Rachel story is very exciting for me to see, and that's something I feel really passionate about because there historically hasn't been as much competition on the women's side of these 200-milers. We've seen some good races on the men's side, but I think this is maybe the first 200 where it's really going to be these two powerhouses going head to head here, and so that felt really like cool to me, and I wanted to have that story. But then also, the entire pack is super important to us. We have, I think, 21 aid stations. 18 of them are sort of proper aid stations, 5 sleep stations. We're really trying to make it, I don't want to say it's beginner friendly because the 200-miler is not beginner friendly, and the course is actually quite hard because of the altitude, but I do think that we're trying to support the runners as much as we can and create an atmosphere where they can succeed. Our cutoffs are on the generous side. Everything's just sort of geared to like, hey, we want you to be successful. We want you to have an incredible experience out here. So from front to back, I think is going to be a really interesting race. And obviously in year one, we don't know what the course record's going to be. All of this stuff is sort of just like projecting and then seeing where everyone comes in. But
that's cool.
It's going to be great.
Well, part of the reason that this caught our attention and why we wanted to put just more effort than average, because there's other 200-milers out there, it's the prize money. I think that we know that not every race has to do it, not every race can do it, but that you are doing it, regardless of how you're making it happen, is newsworthy and noteworthy. We've got great athletes, Rachel running Cocodona and crushing Cocodona, and there's not prize money there. You have prize money. I'm not trying to pitch you against anybody else, but what inspired prize money?
Yeah, I think that was really just born out of wanting to respect the athletes that are running these races, and training for 200 miles is a totally different beast. And I really believe that if we want to grow the sport, we have to create that foundation of support for the athletes. And I mean, Rachel's a good example of someone that's still looking for the right sponsor despite having so much success at Cocodona and other races. Obviously, Tara's, found a really good partner in Ultra, but there's a lot of people coming out. There's some people running our race who I know aren't sponsored and are sort of looking for that like next boost and that next opportunity. And winning $5,000 or, $3,000 or $2,000, whatever it is for the prize, like that really helps, right? And so we just wanted to sort of honor the people and the time that are coming out to this thing, that are training for it, and maybe give someone a little shot at, like, here's a little boost, like go forward, be prosperous.
No, I love it. We talked a little bit beforehand, at least via Instagram, of, for me, what I like about it is that right now for an elite athlete to thrive, not just skip by, but to thrive, they have to be really good at social media. And there's some people out there who've, like, I'll say Caleb Olson has just been one who's been like, hey, I don't like social media. I'm not good at it. I don't want to do it. Prize purses allow them to just be great athletes. And that's a luxury, and not every, whatever, all the asterisks, all that sort of stuff. But generous prize purses are going to give us better runners. So as a fan, that's one of the reasons I wanted to celebrate what you all are doing.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Obviously, year one, it was a leap of faith for us to decide before we even open registration, without knowing like who's going to show up for this thing. We're like, hey, we're going to offer $20,000 in prize money, which is like a big deal, right?
Yes.
We have a lot of overhead in year one. But again, it wasn't really about that. It was about just from the beginning establishing that we want to be a race that respects our runners, that draws in a really competitive field. And it's like, yes, it's for the people on the podium, but it's for the whole community in the sense that anyone has the opportunity to come out and win this money. And we're hoping that we see some surprises. We're hoping that there's some person in the top 3 that we're like, who are they and where did they come from? And there's definitely a few dark horses that I know of that are coming out, I think, because of that. And so that's the idea. It's just like, it's an open playing field. Anyone's welcome to come and have at her. And I'm hoping we're going to see some, really exciting races for those podium spots with a little bit more skin in the game.
Yeah, I did an informal, non-scientific poll just on Instagram, and the conclusion was that, there was the first 3 people all said don't do any prize money. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be really skewed. I was like, 100% said no prize money, you're ruining the sport, and then I never added another single other one. But there's about 36% of the people who said it just makes them care just a little bit more, which is interesting to me. Like, so as a fan, it does help. Some people, it's like 40%. It was like, we're indifferent. Yes or no. But 36%, that's far from zero. That's very meaningful, that people who say this makes us more interested in the race.
Totally. Yeah. And I think it's cool as a fan and spectator of the sport to sort of appreciate that there's something on the line, but also just in general, I think as a race organization, we just want to set the tone of being kind of athlete runner first, creating an experience all around that supports the runners. So
last question, last thought is the live feed. What are your goals with the live feed? A new race, a new 200 miler. As a race director, how do you think about the live feed? What do you want from that?
Oh my gosh, I know we're just going all in for year one.
You are. You really
broadcast. You got the prize money.
Yeah.
We don't do things by half measures over here. But no, I think for me as a storyteller and as someone in media, like that's really important to me as well. And I think that's honestly as big of a draw for some of our top athletes as the prize money is, because like you said, not everybody wants to do the social media thing, but 200s offer an opportunity to tell stories in a really impactful way. And they're fascinating stories, right? Like, I don't know. I found myself glued to Cocodona the last few years. Yeah. And you realize you're like, I've watched 48 hours of television. Whether it's in the background or whatever, but you just get really drawn into this like journey that someone's on. And so I think we just wanted to be able to show people how beautiful it is, really like show off the terrain, but also like bring people into those stories. And just felt again, like from year one, if we could get this thing off the ground, these are the things we want. And we're just going to like make it happen. And, we've been really scrappy this year. It's really a labor of love to get this thing going, but it's also really exciting. So we've got a lot of people, a lot of folks coming out to volunteer who are like, hey, I want to run it next year. I'm going to come check it out this year. Like it's just sort of a cool energy around it. And I think there's something about a year one event too, where it's like,
inaugural
like
year.
We're all in it together. We're going to do our best. You're going to give us grace, but we're going to try to keep all the balls in the air, like all those things.
Well, good luck. I'll be paying attention, no doubt, but it's going to be fun to see Rachel and Tara. I think that is going to be a fun race. Rachel has had an epic couple years. And so I hope that, maybe there becomes a mammoth effect. Let's get her, F1 and see that lead to the deal that we think she deserves. So thanks for everything you're doing. Thanks for joining me. Let's do this again sometime.
Thanks, Josh.
Yep.